Hey there, Kai here, back again. We're gonna take a little break from One Piece today to talk about this YuYu Hakusho live action remake. Now we know that live actions have not had a good track record in the past, but this One Piece live action did change the game, totally did change the game. It was awesome. Which sidebar, should make a review video on that. I really should. I'm gonna try to do that. But anyways, yeah, the One Piece live action was stellar, and honestly, the Rurouni Kenshin live actions have been pretty good. I quite enjoyed them, and like back in the day, it was Rurouni Kenshin and Yu Yu Hakusho that used to come on. And who doesn't love a good, fearless redhead character, right? So now they bring us the Yu Yu Hakusho live action remake, and I had to go watch it. I had to watch it, and now I'm gonna give you my thoughts. All right, so some noticeable differences, or at least one noticeable difference that I want to point out from the jump, is that in the live action, Yusuke is 17, whereas in the anime, he is 14. And for future reference, I'll be comparing the anime to the live action. I have not read the manga. Back then, I didn't even know manga was a thing, and I never went back to read the manga. So that's what my comparisons will be based off of. No, yes. Yusuke was 17. Yes, 17 at the start of the live action series, which I actually enjoyed or preferred because this man is straight up a delinquent. This man smoking, cussing, doing a bunch of stuff. And it's not, none of those things are typically appealing, but it's much more accepted as a 17-year-old as opposed to a 14-year-old, which would be like early high school age. So I'm glad that they adjusted that. But back to the series, the story fuses. I want to say fuses the first two major arcs of the series, which would be the Spirit Detective arc and the Dark Tournament saga. Now, the Spirit Detective arc encompasses Yusuke's ordeal, where in the both the series and the live action he had to protect the egg. You saw that in episode 1 or 2. And the Artifacts of Darkness, that's with the introduction of Kurama, Hiei, and that other guy whose name I forgot. He's not important. Is Kurama and Hiei we checking for anyways. Then there's the Genkai tournament. In the anime, it's a Genkai tournament, and they have a whole bunch of episodes depicting that. In the live action, they condense it to just Genkai training, where he gets the spirit gun and the spirit wave, and then from there it moves on to Yukina rescue mission, and that's where the Toguro brothers are introduced. And from there, I want to say that they took pieces of the Dark Tournament saga and they just brought it up to the Yukina rescue mission. So they didn't exactly address the Dark Tournament saga. It was more so the introduction of the Toguro brothers and how that fight ended is what would have taken place in the Dark Tournament saga. So they omitted pretty much all of that and brought it up and condensed it into those few episodes. So before I move on any further, the actors that played the main characters. So Yusuke was played by Takumi Kitamura. Kurama was played by Jun Shison. Hiei Kanata Hongo. And I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing these correctly. Kuwabara is Shuhei Uesugi. Keiko, Sei, Shiraishi, Botan, Kotone, Furukawa, Koenma, Keita, Machida. Um, and I am not familiar with any of these actors' works. These are the first times I'm hearing about them. But I did look them up, and the only one that I recognized was Yusuke's character, Takumi, or Kitamura. He was in the Tokyo Revengers live action, which I have not seen, but I have watched the anime, at least the fourth season, so I'm a little familiar with that. I'm not familiar with the works of any of the other characters. So this was my introduction to them. I think that Yusuke did a really good job portraying Yusuke as the rebel delinquent that he was. I even like he had the jumpsuit down, he had the hairdo. I liked the slick back with the few little strands. He didn't have the strands coming down like that, but like that's minor stuff. And his mannerisms for the most part was definitely that of I don't care. I am a badass. I could do whatever it is I want. Why are you here bothering me? Much of a delinquent type energy. So I like that he brought that. That was cool. Um Botan in the anime was a little bit witty. Her humor was a little dark. I mean, she was a Grim Reaper, of course, but definitely witty with her humor. I didn't quite get that energy from Botan in the live action. She seemed to be definitely lighthearted, like the Botan of the anime, but not as quick with the wit. Maybe a little bit more compassionate, easily concerned was the energy that I got from that. Um, I liked that was cool. I think I prefer the Botan in the anime for that. I did enjoy Botan's quick wit, and I went back and I saw some of the older episodes, and she was giving the comebacks to Yusuke. She really was. She was not waiting. She was not lagging. Yusuke said something, she would come back with something, and I like that energy. That was pretty cool. Hiei Hiei was probably true to character. He was definitely true to character. Brooding older brother that just wants to look out for his sister. That's pretty much Hiei in the anime and in the live action. I would say he might have been even more likable in the live action. Definitely quick to hide his emotions, not really showing anything serious, quick to fight, badass, both ways, like that. Kurama, no, he's my favorite character in Yusuke. So I was really looking forward to seeing Kurama. And eh. I was a little disappointed. I was not a fan of that wig that Kurama had on. It was a lot. And the red hair I loved, but I was not the wig just was not looking like it was fitting right. But and he was a little too stoic for me. Kurama is generally is stoic even in the anime, but he has more of a charm. Like he's a gentleman, like type of like a little like a player like charm. And I didn't really get that energy from June as Kurama. He felt more very reserved, heavily reserved, stoic to a fault. His character felt a little stiff. So that took away a little bit. Not too much. I was still in it. I can't say I had high expectations of the series. I kind of just went in to watch and see what happened. But I was, as he's my favorite character, I was expecting a little bit more of that Kurama charm. And I can't say that I got it as much as I wanted to. So that was a little bit disappointing. But I'm moving on. That's what it was. It's fine. Certainly didn't take away from the show too much for me. Kuwabara, yeah, yeah. The actor that played Kuwabara did a pretty good job. I liked it. Kuwabara in the live action, I actually liked him more in the live action than I did in the anime. He had a little bit more depth. Definitely still impulsive, loud, quick to start a fight, but a little bit more honest with his emotions and his support of Yusuke. And I mean, he's always noble because that's what Kurama does. That's what he has this honor code. I liked how he was portrayed. I liked the hairstyle too. I was wondering how they would get like the pompadour thing set up, and I think they did a good job. I liked the actor that portrayed Kuwabara. Genkai was good. The the actor that portrayed her, I liked they had a good likeness. I like that. She came across as very powerful, wise, similar to the anime. The quick wit that you see in the anime, I didn't really get in the live action. She certainly didn't call him a dimwit like she likes to call him. Her favorite dimwit, that's what she calls him, Yusuke in the series. So I didn't see that. And she didn't, because it's a condensed version of the series, she didn't stay as long. So her introduction, her build up, I guess, wasn't as prominent. So it was like, she's there, she's all powerful. I'm gonna show you how to do this. You have to balance on this needle for 12 hours, and then I'm gonna show you the spirit gun, and I'm gonna give you the spirit wave orb. For the most part, she was good. Koenma, I forgot to mention him. I like Koenma. I like that they introduced him in his adolescent form and not the child form. That probably was just easier for production, because then you would have to get a baby or CGI it or do something, whereas you could have just get him as an adult or adolescent straight up and do it. Either way, I like it. It did, because they didn't introduce him as a child, that banter that Yusuke and Koenma have in the anime, you didn't see it, because this version of Yusuke doesn't know that Koenma has his true form, or his form is a toddler form. So that back and forth and the insults that they shared in the anime was not present. But those are just little things of the anime, little tricks in the anime. It doesn't really add to or take away from the story. So for them not including it doesn't mean anything. I prefer to see Koenma in his adolescent form, so I like that that's how he was portrayed all through it. It also made him more wise, and what he had to say feel more credible. So I enjoyed that part. So episode 1, we were introduced to Yusuke, Kuwabara, and Keiko, and his mom, obviously. Episode 2 is where we got the heavy hitters, Hiei and Kurama. And I think they also introduced the Toguro brothers, or at least the younger Toguro. So I was really looking forward to episode 2, the introduction of Hiei and Kurama, the real badasses of the team. And they also introduced Genkai and the spirit gun. Very heavily condensed. The training scene that they skipped over a lot, but I think they hit the main parts. It would be, they did enough to allow the progression of the story, is what I would say. And if I wasn't familiar with the series, I don't think I would care too much, but it did feel rushed. They did put a lot in, because Yusuke had to learn the spirit gun, but after he got the spirit gun, he also got the spirit wave. And that's not something that he gets until the Dark Tournament saga itself, like well into it. When he does extra training with Genkai. So, as somebody that has seen that series, that arc, many times, and the progression, to have it condensed to that level such that he does the training, so he has a spirit gun, and he now has a spirit wave. It felt a little rushed, but I understand what they were going for. They wanted to speed up the tournament, and he needed to have that power because that's like the heavy hitter. That's how he defeats Toguro in the anime, and spoiler alert, in the live action. So I can see why they wanted to speed that up. I felt like it was a little too much happening in that scene or in that episode. So I would say it took away a little bit, but I mean, I got the main idea. That it is what he wanted to do. Moving on to the next episode. The introduction of Toguro, as I said, the Toguro brothers, as I said, was in episode 2. And I don't know about you, but Toguro was given very much Neo energy from Matrix to me, more than he was given the like Toguro anime energy when I saw him walking with the shades, especially. So fast forwarding through episode 3, 4, and 5, because I'm not actually trying to break it down episode by episode. 3, 4, and 5 focused more on the Dark Tournament saga. Episode 1 and 2 would be more of that spirit detective arc that we saw in the beginning of the anime itself, and then 3, 4, and 5 would be the equivalent of the Dark Tournament saga that took place in the anime. So that was quick. Now that, again, I know what they had a budget, they had a timeline, that's just what it was. And they did have the same matchups as the anime. So I got to see the one-on-ones, and that was interesting. I did like to see Yukina's introduction still, and all of that. I still felt like it was rushed. It was hard to relate to the struggles, especially to all of their struggles. Kuwabara, Kuwabara will be Kuwabara. His fight was probably the most true to the anime in terms of fighting style and struggle, and easily, and for me to buy into it, than all of the others. Because Kuwabara he fights kind of haphazardly. The Hiei, I expected from Hiei what he did. He threw down. The use of his arm when he unbandaged his arm, I did not notice any reference to it in the episodes prior, and maybe I missed it and I'd have to go back again, but I didn't notice how he got it bandaged and the story behind of that, or any reference to it in the live action. So it felt kind of strange for him to just unwrap it and use it. I know in the anime, like, it shows how he harnessed that energy, but I didn't really see that in the live action. So it felt like it was missing something a little bit, but they didn't dwell on it for too long. The creators didn't dwell on it for too long. So it didn't feel like a point of what was that. It kind of just gave, the energy gave to me like he always had it. It was always there. That was like a secret weapon, and then he unlocked it or unleashed it so that he could beat his opponent, and that was that. So it was I guess it was fine. But, and this might be just me knowing how the anime went and making the comparison again, but it felt like it was maybe missing a step or two. I feel like Kurama's fight was, how do I feel about Kurama's fight? Kurama's fight, and he's my favorite character, so let's just say I had high hopes for him, even though I didn't really have high hopes for the series overall. Kurama's fight was a little disappointing. It was a little disappointing. It made him come off weaker than he is in the story. Because you gotta remember, Kurama is a badass yokai demon. And throughout the story, his name is feared. It is revered. It is feared. You do not want to mess with Kurama. Here too. But I think Kurama may have been around longer and has just done more. So when you hear the name Kurama, you quiver in your boots or whatnot. So I expected him to show more of that prowess early on. Now in the anime, there are several fights that he has before he fights Karasu. So you get to see Kurama's strength leading up to Karasu. But in the live action, I think it's just pretty much Karasu is his only true opponent. And that's it. So he fights, he gets all the cred, but he doesn't show it, and then he's struggling is kind of what I got from it. And they played it like how they played it in the anime. He fought with Karasu and he actually won in the live action, which he did not in the anime. But it just felt like I wasn't buying it. I'll put it this way. I didn't really buy into that fight as well as I bought into Kuwabara's or even he is. It was just, I wanted Kurama to do a little bit more. But I think it was more that they condensed it and they just wanted to hit all the main points. He fought, he turned into his yokai version, he struggled, and then he unleashed the plant of death. I think those were like the main parts that they wanted to portray, and they did. And I will say that in the live action, Kurama beat Karasu. Karasu died. In the anime, Karasu did die, but Kurama technically lost that match because he stayed down for more than 10 counts, while Karasu did not. But he did die. So did Kurama lose? Technically, yes. In reality, he didn't. But that was just how they wrote the tournament so that it could go to 5. Because I think it was the best of 5 in the anime, the Dark Tournament saga. So you had to, in order for it to go to the final match, which would be Yusuke and Toguro, somebody had to lose. So they made that. They made Kurama lose. Now the main fight, Yusuke versus Toguro. I liked the 3-on-1 that they started with because I found it hard to believe anything different. Yusuke was basically a beginner and Toguro is an immortal demon. To have him just unlock all of that to fight straight up, nah. So I like the 3-on-1 that they did. To me, I felt like I was able to see more of what Hiei and Kurama could do. Even though they were beat up pretty good, they still had some left in them. And then when they brought Kuwabara, I was thinking it would be a 4-on-1. The killing Toguro killing his brother, Elder Toguro, younger Toguro killing Elder Toguro. I do not remember that happening in the anime. I do not think that happened in the anime. I think that was a change, a production change. And I like it because I didn't really like Elder Toguro. Matter of fact, Elder Toguro was given CGI energy for his entire existence in that series. Was he even a real person? I'm gonna have to look him up. Because everything about Elder Toguro looked fake, completely computer. So was like, I don't know. It didn't, his character was the most questionable to me. Like, was he there or did green screen everything? This, what CGI, what did they do for him at all? I'm curious. I want to look that one up. I didn't like his design. But yeah, younger Toguro killed off Elder Toguro real quick, and that turned into a one-on-one between Yusuke and younger Toguro. At which point Yusuke found out that Genkai died, which, you know, that was also an important point in the anime. But in the anime, she was revived. So she died, but she didn't die there. I do believe in the manga, by the end of the story, Genkai did pass. But at that point in the story, she came back to life. Here, it seems like, and the series ended with her being dead. So if there is a season 2, I'm not sure if they'll bring her back or not. That may be the end of Genkai, which is fine. So moving on to the main event, Toguro versus Yusuke, the match we've all been waiting for. Tell me, Toguro at 100% output, he was giving Attack on Titan energy to me. Tell me if you agree or not. Like, first he's giving Neo energy as he walked through, and then he's giving Attack on Titan energy. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing what I want to see. But that's the kind of energy I was getting when Toguro went up to 100%, talking about, I know, acknowledge you as a true rival. Funny stuff. I don't know if I could say anything really impressed me about the fight. I knew what was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna be quick. I knew they had to condense it. Seemed like they did all of that. It was still pretty cool. Yusuke did figure out how to harness the spirit wave quickly. Hard to believe how quick it was, but you know, he did it. Turns out he won, and then Toguro reunited with Genkai in the afterlife. Important scene that you see in the anime. So there's that. So overall, what do I think about the YuYu Hakusho live action? I liked it. I thought it was pretty well put together. Live actions don't usually have a good history, so I didn't go in there with my hopes high. For the most part, I think it brought attention to the series, and I think that may have been the creator's goal to just bring attention to Yu Hakusho again, make the viewers dig deeper, go to the manga, go to the anime, and that's exactly what I did. I went and I rewatched the anime after I saw the live action so that I could draw comparisons and whatnot. So I enjoyed that. They did take some creative liberties, some of which I liked, some of which I didn't. I liked that they made Yusuke older. I liked that they made his mom more present in the series, like in the in when the house burned down, his mom was there, as opposed to the anime when she went on a drinking binge. So I like those changes. I would say that they did a pretty good job. I am pleased with what I saw. And I don't know if there would be a second season. If there is, I'll watch it. I don't really have high hopes for it, but they did a good job. Yeah, so those were like my initial thoughts of the series. Tell me, what did you think? If you did see it, what did you think of the Yu Yu Hakusho live action? Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again with another video. Bye.